Lesson number 2, support and resistance. Hi folks, I'm Stratman from pipware.com. Just going to take you through how I mark up support and resistance. Just be aware that every trader has their own personal opinion on how support and resistance should be marked up. This is my way, it works for me. You may find a way that works better for you. When it comes to support and resistance, resistance is a point where price basically comes up to a point, like here. If I just draw a line there, price comes up to a point and bounces off it and goes back down. That's classified as resistance. Support, on the other hand, is where price comes down to a point and bounces off and moves back upwards. So that's support, is this side, and this is resistance, this side. So the same line can be both support and resistance. So in this case it was resistance, in this case it was support. For a line to be what we considered a valid support and resistance line that we're going to take notice of, we want to see price hit it 2 to 3 times at a minimum. So in this case, this would be classified as resistance because it hit 3 times there and then finally broke through, and quite often previous resistance turns into current support. So you can see that it came back and retested that point. We're looking out on the weekly time frame because the weekly time frame, to me, or higher time frames in general, show up candle patterns a lot better. In other words, the candle patterns are more reliable on higher time frames than lower time frames. So we're just doing this as an exercise out at the weekly so we can see the patterns a bit better. Now currently we're looking, so we could mark that as a support and resistance line. What about current price action? Where are we right now? Let's consider up here. Now we could draw our line up here. It's hit there twice, right? That could be a valid resistance line. Or we could draw it down here. That could be a valid resistance line because we've had 1, 2, 3, 4 goes at hitting through that. The other thing is that we could be down here. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and this little one here. So what I'm trying to point out here is support and resistance is a range. You could draw this line all the way from there, all the way down to there, and consider that valid support and resistance. Likewise on the other side. So we could draw down at this point, and a lot of people might draw the line here because they've had previous resistance here, 1, 2, becoming support, 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 support. Okay, and what we're looking for is either this area here or the area above it to be broken and confirmation of where we're going. So I'm just going to take a snap of this so I can draw some pictures on this. I'm using Jing to do this, a wonderful tool, and I'll just bring the picture into view and I'll just mark up a couple of things on here. First thing we need to note is that trend direction currently is upwards. Clearly it's an uptrend. So we're looking for possibly still going along again here. If we had a moving average on this, we might be seeing the moving averages flattening out at this point, and potentially if price breaks down below here, we're going to be going short. So the trend will change direction. For now though, the important thing is to know that our support and resistance is a band. So I'm going to try my best to draw support and resistance here. So that's our current, most current resistance area. This is our most current support area. Try and get that a little bit smaller and just move it down a little bit. Okay, so the whole point about this support and resistance is just to realize that it is a range. Okay, so there's our current support, our current resistance. When we're trading with support and resistance, we're looking for a break of either of these 2 points and a confirmed break. So if we move onwards with this, what we're expecting to see is what kind of is going to happen or eventuate outside of this, and then get a confirmation that we're going to trade it. At the moment there is no signal here telling us whether we should go long or go short. We're in an area of consolidation. price for 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks has been ranging, just sitting in this tight band. Right, let's remember that trend is up, but there is potential because it's probably close to our moving average that it may go down. So let's get out of here and just have a look at what kind of happens. So we're going to mark our support and resistance lines on here. I'm just going to chuck them on as close as I can to where I think the best kind of fit is. And like I say, every trader will get a different point. And to me, that kind of really fits what I consider to be the support and resistance of this kind of area. Right. So I'm only marking up the first kind of resistance above price where it is right now, and the first support below price. I could make my whole chart really messy with heaps and heaps of lines, and I used to do that, and a lot of people still do because they want to see where it's going. I'll add those lines in when I'm in a trade because I'll use them as possible targets for profit. Okay, let's just move this chart along and see what happened. Well, there we go. We've got a break of our support line. So, and in this case, it closed below that. So what we'll be interested in is taking a trade short. Now we might have gone down into our lower time frames and seen a better possibility for an entry here on this, on maybe a daily chart, 4 hourly, 1 hour. If you're an intraday trader or scalper, you'd probably be doing something completely different. You might not even be looking at this particular chart. But the same principles apply here on the weekly chart as it does on the lower time frame charts. But just remember that the candle patterns aren't as reliable the lower the time frame you go to. Okay, anyway, let's see what happened. Well, there we go. So potentially we'd be in a trade short here, totally based on this support, basically this support line that was resistance before became support, and guess what? Probably, most likely, price will retrace later on and end up probably coming back up towards our support line, and it may become, this line may become resistance again. So the whole point of support and resistance is to show you where price kind of is going to struggle to break. It's like a wall. Okay, so here it was a wall, it couldn't get through, got through, and then it couldn't get back through. And then over here it got through again but couldn't get back, and kept on trying to get through at the top but never made it through. And at this point here we'd be looking for, are we going to be able to go long, are we going to be able to go short? We're waiting, finally we get the signal to go short. Okay, so let's just carry on. So some people might have scaled out of positions at this point, and at this point may even be building into positions. These two candles here are showing the next level of support and resistance. So what we'd be interested in doing is starting to move our lines down, and you can see that if we look out here, that's a good band of support and resistance back at this area as well. So it's kind of respecting a previous area of support and resistance. So at this point we're looking at, are we going to go short again, or is it going to go long? If it's going to go long after this point, some people might take profit out of their trade and wait for it to go short again, because we'll be below our moving average. So let's have a look. So price went upwards, and most people wouldn't have taken a long trade on this break of resistance, because price is clearly in a downtrend at this point. So people will be looking now to see a break of this line here to re-enter. So that's what will be likely to happen. For me and for most people that are intraday traders, we'd be doing the same thing, maybe down on the hourly time frame or the M15 time frame. So if we look at the M15, I mean, it's going to be a lot harder to draw some support and resistance lines, but I think you get the idea. So for me, I'm quite often looking at the hourly time frame, and I'd be very interested in, this is a good line here. Look at that. Clearly there's been resistance, support. I'm not drawing it at the bottoms, I'm right at the at where most of them are fitting through. In fact, right at the bottoms of the bodies of the candles. So we'd be looking for a breakthrough here, and potentially we could even move it up here and look for a break there. Okay, anyway, that's support and resistance, Strapman from pipwear.com.